Well, shall we see how this goes? Little technical difficulties to get started, but we shall see. Thought I'd come out here and talk about dogs with you good folks. They're so special. And if you got kids in the house, having a dog, playing with the kids, it teaches them responsibility and just something special about a dog. There really is. Oh, well, there's my banner. JohnnyO is live. I see I got a thumbs up, a couple of them. Thank you. Appreciate you. Little better spirits today. Looking at a lot of old photos, took me down memory lane, family and my brothers and whatnot, and pictures of my first pit bull and my second pit bull and whatnot. And dogs are so cool. They are, they're little angels from heaven. They really are. And like I was saying, to watch your children interact with your dogs and how the bond they create, it's so cool. Well, somebody's here. The kid. Look up Havasil, Alabama. 5 cops arrested. Wow, kid. I'll have to check that out. Yeah. When it comes to the police, when I was a little kid living in the ghetto, you'd see a cop and you'd yell Redwood because we lived in Redwood City, and that was our nickname for the cops, Redwood. And, we were little hood rats on bicycles getting in mischievous little bullshit, nothing big, but my impression of the police as a young kid was, cops and robbers kind of thing. And it's kind of funny, later in life, I tried to be a sheriff. I was into the bodybuilding thing, going to the gym every day, and had a good friend, Darren Schofield, out of San Mateo County, California. He's a sheriff, and his dad was a sheriff. And my little brother's, one of their best friends, Tony Keelan, his dad was a sheriff. And I needed a career and thought maybe my bad reading, I could work around it, best I could kind of thing. And they told me to go to a junior college, take cop classes, criminal, what do they call it? I forget what they call it, but you can get some little degree, criminal science or some nonsense. But they also had physical classes where you learn how to handcuff, and you learn how to do this at a range, and you learn all the do's and don'ts, and you're basically putting yourself through the academy through a junior college. And I was told to go do that while I was putting in an application so that it showed incentive that you were serious about wanting to join the sheriff's department. So I did that, struggled through the book stuff, but got a couple of post certificates, police officer standards and training. And also got tested at the junior college for dyslexia, because the sheriff's department told me if I could prove that I was dyslexic, I could have more time on the written test. So I did that, and the college tested me, and they said my reading comprehension was somewhere between 4th grade and 5th grade. It's pretty bad. Usually if I can sound out a word and I know what the word is before it and after it, I can kind of figure out the context. But I was really, really slow. And so they gave me more time on the written test because I could prove that I was dyslexic. The problem was there was 246 applicants, and they only hired 6 people. And on the written test, I had tested out somewhere in the middle. So I never got to go before the oral boards or any of that kind of stuff, which I would have excelled at. I mean, my whole life, all I've ever wanted to do was help. I really wanted to be a social worker, but that dream got shot down real quick. The fact that I can't read, you guys watch me down there in the comments. You got to have a college degree. You know, going through the cop classes, I could kind of squeak through, but to get, a bachelor's degree or whatever you got to have to be a social worker, there was no way I could get through all that. But tried to be a cop, to protect and serve. It's second nature for me. Just like wanting to be a social worker or watching out for these dogs or watching out for my mom and my brothers. It's what comes natural to me. It makes me feel good to help somebody. And I've always known that, been a bouncer many times in my life in bars. I was always the guy trying to break up the fights, not start the fights. But because I had some size and skills and whatnot, I wanted to use it for the good, not the bad. But things don't always work out the way you want them to. Well, I see I got a couple more comments. Big Al's in the house. Wow, it's been a minute. Good to see you, homie. Yo, what's up, my guy? Hope things are going okay for you, knowing your situation. Thank you for that, Big Al. I'm hanging in there, man. It's been difficult. It really has. C. White, top of the morn, Johnny. JohnnyO, hope you're feeling happy and healthy, OG. Doing the best I can. I'd be lying if I said yes. Health isn't so great. Mood is up and down. Really want to get back home. But I've been through a lot in life, growing up in foster homes and not having a dad, and my brother's dad going to prison because he was an angry dude, and mom could be pretty angry when she wanted to, that's for sure. So throughout my whole life, been surrounded by angry people, and turns you into one, and that really works against you in life. It's something I've learned the hard way. And the Lord works in mysterious ways. When my dogs died, it killed off so much anger in me. And being alone in this house and forced to reflect and think about the error in my ways, it has changed me, man. I don't know. I'm very grateful that when my dogs died, it could have made me a whole lot worse. And instead, the good Lord made me better. The only problem is I'm quite sad. And it's hard for me to hide that and choke that down. But part of that complex PTSD stuff is these mood swings between anger and sadness, and trying to modulate that and not get triggered. So at least I got half of it in check. I'll always be an angry person to a certain extent, I'm sure. But I can feel it when it comes on. I know when it's bubbling up and I'm starting to feel that anger grow inside me. And as soon as I have that feeling, immediately I'm like, oh, dude, you just got to let it go. It'll pass. And it does. The sadness is a lot harder to process. And having all this time on my hands, thinking about life and thinking about my behavior and the things I've said and done out of anger, has taught me a valuable lesson, how important it is when that anger starts to bubble up, how you got to really let it go. And when I get sad, the only one I'm hurting is myself. If I don't check that and get having a pity party it kills me, right? And so I'm working on getting better at that. And once I can get back home and get a couple dogs, that'll go a long way with the sadness, boy. A long way. You know, I forget what it's called, but if you got a dog sitting in your lap and you're petting them, your body releases a certain chemical, endorphins or whatever, right? Where it makes you happy. It puts you in a good mood. And that's why I labeled this one, Every Dog Has His Day and So Will You. And I encourage everybody to go get you a dog, man. They can really help heal you. You know, I wish I would have learned this sooner while my dogs were still here. And as much as they did for me while they were alive, the biggest lesson they taught me was after they passed away. So when I get a new pair of dogs, they will be loved on and spoiled rotten, boy. They will never hear me raise my voice. And when it comes to friends and family, they'll never hear me raise my voice. I learned the hard way. You know, I pushed a lot of good people out of my life because I wasn't able to check myself before I wrecked myself. But now I get it. I really do. And in time, provided I stay healthy and I can get back home and I get a couple more dogs, the appreciation I have for what they do for me is incredible. They're so magical and special, what dogs do for you. It's most people don't get it because most people aren't broken the way I am. You know, it's just a pet. And there are those who, you know, treat their dogs like family, for sure. And you don't have to be broken to treat a dog like family. Some people are sweet. They don't have that angry side, you know. They're sweet and they had a good life and they don't have all this inner demons, you know. But I can't go on and on enough about how important it is to have a dog in your house. Whether you're broken or not, if you're a good person, a dog will enhance your life in ways you just can't imagine. They are so, so special. Well, I see I got a couple more comments down there. Let me see here. Where did I leave off? Okay, here we go. Big Al. Home is where you make it. There you go, Big Al. JM Unleashed. Now there's a dog lover. Number 5. Hi, Johnny and everyone here. Good to you, JM. Always a pleasure. C. White. Sending good energy your way, homeboy. Hope you find some peace. I'll tell you what, I'm happy to be home. California, Northern Cali. Yeah, C. White, I'm jealous, brother. I hope to be there soon. Oh, there you go, JM. Oxytocin. That's the word, oxytocin. They release that feel-good feeling in you when you just sit there and pet your dog, man. It's better than going to a shrink. Oxytocin. There you go. There you go. Thank you for that, JM. When you pet your dog, your body releases oxytocin, a hormone that is associated with the feeling of trust. Yes, empathy. Boy, you're going to get me crying. And happiness. This hormone is also known as the love hormone. See, that's what I'm talking about with the sadness, man. I read a few words and I'm choked up. That's not normal. And I know that. But when you're broke like me, it is what it is. And I don't care what other people think. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you for that, JM Unleash. And I hope people read that. It does, man. That's why I've said many times dogs are little angels sent from heaven. If that's the kind of hormone they release and that's how it makes you feel, just spell dog backwards and tell me that's not a coincidence. The kid, did you ever get your money back? From the sheriff's department, I did. I did. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Mm. Thanks for hitting that button, you guys. And I see the view count and what's going on. So if while you're watching this live, if you get disconnected, just pop back in. And if your comments ever disappear down in the comment section, like if somebody post a comment down there after this is over, which I know people have done, they disappear. Sorry about that. That's my stalker. You know, there are folks in this town that are truly obsessed with me, which is dangerous, right? Anybody that is so obsessed with me that goes to the great lengths these folks do tells me there's something wrong with them, they're bad people, and that puts me in harm's way. So I stay to myself, and I will get out of here as soon as possible, and hopefully that'll happen smoothly and there will be no problems. But, you know, as far as you guys getting hassled, I'm sorry. There's really nothing I can do about it. You know, my stalker goes to great lengths. Anyway, enough of that. The kid, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get more emotional now that I'm in my 50s than I used to. Walking dogs for a living gives me daily therapy. There you go, JM. Absolutely, man. And when I get back to California, my plan is to move up into the foothills and get an acre, maybe two if I can, a little something. And I know I could take care of half dozen dogs. For sure. I'll have two dogs in the house with me, you know, and then build little doggy apartments so they got little houses and a yard to play in. They won't be kept in a kennel. That hurts my heart to see a dog in a kennel. But I could comfortably manage a half dozen dogs, I'm sure, maybe more. You know, I had big aspirations moving to this town, obviously, you know, buying 30 acres with two houses and a barn and a shop and a pole building, and bought, you know, multiple trucks and two Harleys to share all this stuff with other people that need that emotional support from dogs, right? It's symbiotic. You do for the dogs, they do for you, and that back and forth. And then to be with other people that understand that, because the world has broke them in one way or another. And like I said in that last video, if the world breaks you, whether it's your parents or whatnot, or you go to the war, you know, you're a veteran and you carry these scars on the inside, other people that are scarred up on the inside understand each other. You have that common ground. And to have the dogs for medicine, you couldn't ask for anything more. And I know it's a great combination. I just wasn't successful in putting it all together. My intentions were good. You know, moving to this little town, all I ever wanted to do was help. You know, when I first moved here and I was trying to buy that trailer and there were people trespassing over there, and I'd called the sheriff a couple times, and when the sheriff came out, you know, I had a great rapport with them initially. You know, I was like, hey man, you know, if you ever need any help, somebody's lost and, you know, you need some volunteers to go digging through the woods looking for somebody or something, give me a call. You know, I tried to be a sheriff. So I tried to establish a good rapport with the sheriff's department before things went sour. I really wish things would have worked. I do. It's a really beautiful piece of property. I didn't really think it through all that thoroughly. Having a dog rescue in below zero temperatures would have been very difficult. And doing it a little something in California will be a whole lot easier. I threw caution to the wind when I moved here. I did. And I didn't do my homework. I should have found some people to help me before I moved. I shouldn't have showed up here all by myself. It was a huge mistake. But I was cocky and I knew I could do it. And there was nothing else I wanted to do. And, with my pension, I had more than I needed. And sharing with other folks, a cup of coffee and a donut for the homeless guy and all that stuff, that makes me feel good. It's like petting a dog. Doing a kind act for a stranger is one of those things that have always made me feel good. Getting called the bully slayer in elementary school for sticking up for the weak. It's just my nature. But I had that angry side and it got me in trouble in this little town, me and my big mouth. But I learned my lesson. I don't talk to nobody. I don't yell at nobody. I don't exhibit anger outwardly anymore to anyone for any reason. Because I can see it coming. I can feel it. And I know the end result. There's nothing good comes from anger. And just because you're broken isn't an excuse. And I used to blame the world. It's your fault. You made me like this. Too bad for you. I used to say it in videos back in the day. I was such a train wreck. A lot of my old videos that I took down, and even old videos that I made in the mobile home park. I shake my head now because I'm not that guy anymore. I just hope it's not too late and I still get a chance to do a little charity work. I do. Mend some fences. My brother's been heavy on my heart. I'm hoping him and I can have a good conversation one day soon. And he can see for himself I'm not that same guy no more. I miss him a lot. Looking at old photos from when we were little kids, been trying to pack up and go through boxes and get rid of stuff to lighten the load, and found a lot of old photos, man, from when we were little. So please, anybody out there with some anger issues, heed my advice. Keep it to yourself, it'll pass. Do not, and I repeat, do not take it out on the ones you love, especially your dogs. They don't deserve it. A dog is just a dog. If he pees on the floor, it's because you didn't teach him not to pee on the floor, right? Just like you when you were a baby. You peed your diaper because you didn't know any better. If a dog pees on the floor, it's because it didn't know any better. You got to teach him, right? And dogs need a lot of attention. You got to play with them. You got to walk them. You got to burn off that energy, because if you don't, they're going to get mischievous and go chewing on the couch or something. So give them something to chew on. Give them something to do. Don't let them be bored. It's not their fault when they do something you don't want them to do. It's your fault because you didn't teach them. Just like your children, right? Just a little friendly advice from somebody who's made some mistakes. If you live in California, I would apply to work with Caesar Milana, the dog whisperer. There you go, JM. The kid. Don't minimize. They did you wrong. No, I know, kid. I know. But the thing is about what happened to me in this town and these folks, it's something else I learned after my dogs passed away. You really have to forgive people. I can't minimize anything they've done. You know, there's been a great deal of dirty, dirty pool. You know what I'm saying? And being far outnumbered, and these folks got sway in town and sway with the sheriff's department and all that. I know what happened to me for sure. That's why I was so angry. And I thought I would find justice. I thought, it would all be okay and I would expose those for what they did. And I couldn't get the proper representation. I couldn't get the help I needed to stick up for myself. And so now I just have to forgive them and move on. Because it was tearing me up inside. I was angry all day, every day, man. And like I was just saying, growing up an angry kid and not understanding what PTSD was and all that. And as I learned, the only way for me to get better and feel better is to let it all go, and the first step in letting go of that anger is forgiving the ones that did you wrong. There's a reason why these folks behave the way they do, you know. Somebody did them wrong, so they got something in them that gets them to misbehave. And that's what gives me the strength to forgive them for what they did to me. Because somebody did something to them and made them that way. If they were loving and kind and caring people, none of this would have happened. So I have to forgive them. It's the only thing I can do, right? I don't want to stay an angry person for the rest of my life. When I meet my maker, I want to be at peace. I don't want to go to the grave an angry person. I got an aneurysm on my aorta, right? From when I went to this lousy doctor in town complaining about my illness. And they tell me about this aneurysm, and anger and stress will make that thing pop. And if it pops, I'm dead. There's no saving me. And so that's on me to let all that go, man. I don't have a choice. Self-preservation. I have to stay calm, cool, and collected. Being sad and crying ain't gonna get this aneurysm to pop, but yelling and screaming and sending my blood pressure through the roof, that's a bad combination with an aneurysm. So, I hear what you're saying, kid. I do. But I don't have a choice. I gotta forgive him and let it go, bro. JM, I think you're on the right track, Johnny. Thank you. Thank you, JM. I appreciate you. And thanks again, you guys, for hitting that button. I appreciate you. Yeah. Good old dogs, man. I can't say enough about how important it is to have a dog in your life. I think every human on this planet should have a dog. They're so special. They're so good for the soul in so many ways. Oh, look, LS is in the house. Hi, LS. Good. It's great to see you. Always good to see an old friend. Thank you for coming by. And that young lady knows all about dogs. Dogs are great. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Wow. It's like the only ones with comments got wrenches because you guys can't get booted off. You know what? Let me give some love to some folks. Thank you for popping in. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. You're good for the soul. Look at LS. She's down there smiling with the pray hands. Yeah. I hope life is treating you well over there in Portugal. And you're settling in. And it's so beautiful over there. And it's so nice to see you, young lady. So nice to see you. Yeah. Adversity on the gadget. Ah, look, Batshit's in the house. What's happening, Batshit? Always good to see you, young man. It's okay. Thank you, Johnny. Ah, there you go, LS. Well, I hope it gets better than okay for you. I really do. I know it's got to be difficult settling into a new country and everything that goes with it. And I know you got started off on the wrong foot with your dog and the neighbor's dog and all that. I know that makes it a little tough, but hopefully that gets better and it really is your last move in life. But you know as well as I do, if things don't work, there's always somewhere else to go. Found that out the hard way too. I never thought I would leave this place. Once I moved here and was trying to get things going, I never thought I'd ever leave and go back to California. But the Lord works in mysterious ways, and His plan is His own, and I'm just along for the ride. I just hope He sees it in His heart to get me back to California, because I'd hate to pass away in this little town. I really want to get back home, back to where I have friends and family and people that love me. I was hell bent on doing it all by myself, and I don't need no humans in my life. I just need my dogs and all that. But the truth is, everybody needs somebody sometimes, just like the old song says. Have you thought about online therapy sessions? They are helpful. I am going to start soon. I feel good about it. Ah, LS. Well, when it comes to the gadget and trying to figure out stuff, and online therapy means you got to spend money, and I need to save every penny I can to get back home. And hopefully, eventually, I can find somebody to work with and have someone to talk to and work some of these things out. See, there was something that my daughter said to me the last time we spoke, and she said, Dad, I'll never speak to you again until you get professional help. And I was so angry and upset, but she was right. I do. I need to talk to somebody. I've learned a lot, and I learn more every day. I'm a pretty sharp guy, and going on YouTube and listening to other people's trials and tribulations with life and how they work through it um, has given me a lot of insight and a lot of tools to check my anger. You know, I need help with my sadness. I do. I get choked up too easy. Way too easy. I mean, all I got to do is look at the dog's ashes and I'll start crying. So grief for me is a real bitch. And it was for my mom and my brother both. When my grandfather passed away and my grandmother passed away, my mom had a nervous breakdown both times. And when my mom passed away, my baby brother, rest in peace, he had a nervous breakdown. So I know how powerful grief is and how hard that can be on some people. And luckily for me, I have an inner strength that my mom and my baby brother didn't have. But that don't mean I don't need help. I mean, we all need help. So when I get back to California, I'll find somebody who I can chirp in their ear and get some friendly advice and all that when it comes to the sadness. I feel pretty well equipped to check my anger because I've learned from my mistakes, you know, and how much that really impacted my life in a negative way. But with the sadness, it's a whole different thing. There is, how do I say this? The off switch for the sadness is harder to click than the one for anger. Anger, I've gotten so much better at being able to turn that off as soon as I feel it. But with the sadness, sometimes you can just kind of get lost in it. And sometimes I think I need to, I need to let some tears out and let that go, and, you know, therapeutic kind of tears and all that. But sometimes it's real overwhelming, and then I get the feeling like I don't want to be here no more, and that's not healthy. Praying to God to take me and all that stuff, that's where I need help for sure. I love myself. I love life, and I still got a lot to give and a lot of life to live for. And I look forward to having dogs in my life again and being back home and mending fences and going for a ride on a Harley with my brother and going to the tattoo shop and walking the dog. And, I got a lot to look forward to. So I like me, even though I'm broken, I'm very happy with the man I am. I just wish I was back home where there were people I can trust, people that have my best interest at heart and want to help. I got a half dozen good people back home that got love for me, and I know that, including my brother. We'll patch things up one day. He just hasn't had a chance to see the new me. I'm not, you know, uh, it'll take time. Anyway, a couple more comments. Uh, JM, very true, LS. There you go. Nabi, hi, there you go. Hi, Nabi, there you go. How are you doing? I'm hanging in there. I'm feeling a little better today. Thank you for asking. I appreciate you. And thank you guys for hitting that button. Johnny, have you gone horseback riding? They can be great therapy too if the horse is well trained. I went living in California out on the coast. There's a little town called Half Moon Bay. And in Half Moon Bay, there used to be places where you could go rent a horse and go ride on the beach. And I remember doing it as a kid, and it scared me. Having that big animal in control of your destiny was a little sketchy, But if they're well trained, like you said, I could see where a horse could be therapy for sure. Robert, hey Johnny, come on back to Cali. We miss you and would love to have you back home in Cali. Well, thank you, Robert. I appreciate that, man. Yeah. I can't wait. I'm going to do everything I can to get back there as soon as possible. LS giving JM the thumbs up with the horse. JM saying what's up to Robert. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by, Robert. California is a beautiful state. It really is. Get rid of the politics. But I'm just talking about the property, the land itself, and the geographic location of California is very, very beautiful. Weather, I mean, it is beautiful. You get out of the big cities. My plan is to move into the foothills. It's more affordable. I get an acre or two and some trees and some forest and whatnot. I'm not worried about the forest fires. My only problem is I need enough money to pay for something in full so that I don't have to carry homeowners insurance. It's the only way I can do it. If I put a down payment down, I can't afford a mortgage payment and homeowners insurance in California. So whatever I'm able to get out of this property, I need to buy something and pay for it in full. It's the only way. I mean, there's folks that are paying fire insurance if you can even get it, and it costs you more than a mortgage payment, depending on your situation. $2,000 or $3,000 a month for fire insurance? Are you crazy? Please, there's no way. I mean, I got a little pension. It's not bad, but it's not a bazillion dollars, that's for sure. Robert, yes, sir. It's a shame. It is a shame. It is, man. It's a crying shame what the politicians did to California on so many fronts, man. So many fronts. Not just fire insurance, but taxes. The taxes they charge on everything, man. And it would be one thing if they put that money to good use. Gavin Newsom and his high speed rail. Look that up. High speed rail in California, how much money they spent, and then they deserted the project. And what they used to say about how good that was going to be for California for, you know, hugging the trees and making less pollution and all that nonsense. And they never finished it, man. And they wasted so much money, so much money. And they continue to waste so much money. California is a melting pot. People used to agree to disagree and still be cordial and friendly to each other. I hung out at a tattoo shop in San Francisco. You know, I was sitting at the counter for a couple of years because of the housing crisis. What happened to California during the housing crisis, predatory lending and all that. So I got a good education about how California works. And if I can get into the foothills with no mortgage payment, you know, associate with like-minded folks, and the ones that I can agree to disagree with, I just avoid them because they're way over the top with their behavior. I don't even like talking about it. People get uptight, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, but you're not entitled to push your opinion on me or the children in elementary school. You know, you want to push your agenda in college, that's one thing. But kindergarten through 12th grade, leave those kids alone. Let them grow up to be whoever they want to be. But don't push your politics and your agenda on the children, man. And unfortunately, that happens a lot in California. And that's a crying shame. It really is. JM, I volunteered approximately 50 hours at a horse stable and provide therapeutic riding programs for people with disabilities. Ah, JM, God bless you, man. You're good people. Love you, homeboy. Even grooming horses can be therapeutic. Absolutely, man. Horses are beautiful. And there's another animal that's got a spirit. You can see it in their eyes, man. They're very intelligent. And I could see petting, you know, grooming a horse is just like petting a dog, you know. You're doing something nice for the horse, it makes you feel good. Intocin or whatever it was that you said, right? That hormone, that love hormone. Good for you, JM. You got it, man. You got the world by the shorties, man. God bless you, brother. The kid, in light of the corruption in Cali, you might just get a deal on some property there. Yeah, I've already been pricing. There's a lot of property in the foothills that have come way down in price because of the fire insurance. There's a lot for sale right now. And because of the condition of this country, real estate where I'm at has gone up. Hobby farms are hot. They're very hot. And so I think me going back to California will work out. I can get what I need out of here to buy a little tiny something in the foothills. So, you know, like I said, the Lord works in mysterious ways, and sounds to me like timing is everything, if you know what I'm saying. So I would love to get back on the California coast, back to San Mateo County, but that property will never go down in price. It's too expensive. You know, I was born in the heart of Silicon Valley. I worked on Oracle, Larry Ellison's business, Oracle. I helped build those buildings. I worked on Apple Computer's first campus. I worked at Hewlett Packard's campus. I worked all over. I worked on Facebook before they had a campus. Their first campus I worked on before it was Apple's campus, and then when Apple took off and they did the remodel on those buildings right by the bay, I worked there. I worked all over Silicon Valley as a sheet metal worker. And that's why I can't go back home. That the value of that property will never go down. But because the California fires and the insurance, that's going to work for me instead of against me. Because I'm not worried about my house burning down. If you don't have any trees next to your house to catch your house on fire, and you got a metal roof and a sprinkler system and a couple little things, you can fireproof your place to prevent it from burning to the ground. If you look up Jennifer Anderson, the actress, her house was right in the middle of the fire in Southern California, and it didn't burn down because she prepared for it. She made her house fire resistant, and her house is still standing because she put in the work. So I'll do the same thing. If I'm living in the foothills of Cali and they catch on fire, my house will still be standing. I can guarantee it. LS telling JM nice, absolutely. The horses, absolutely. LS, I'm considering volunteering there again. There you go. The kid. Trump will sign an executive order banning all HOAs across the country. They are unconstitutional. That'd be nice. JM, energy, 100% Johnny, oxytocin. There you go. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm with you all the way with that oxytocin stuff, brother. For sure. For sure. Oh, absolutely. Ah, thanks, guys. You always lift my spirits, man. Like-minded people. Got love for the critters and understand life the way I do, and show this old man some kind words and compassion. You give me faith in humanity. You do. You restore my faith. Sometimes it's hard for me to come out here, being grouchy, and I don't like coming out here being grouchy and, you know, talking bad about life. Nobody wants to listen to that. And like I said, going down memory lane today and looking at old photos, thinking about my family and about the way things used to be, got me thinking about the dogs. And, I didn't let the anger and the sadness get to me today. So I thought, you know what, let me come out here and make a video because I'm in a better mood, and share a little friendly advice, because I never know who's going to watch these after they post, and they'll be here long after I'm gone. And there's good advice in here for the kids of this world, the ones that grew up with a gadget in their hand and didn't get to see what some of us saw when we were kids. The world was a very different place. Richard Miller, cool. Good to see you, Richard. You are right about the metal roof. Absolutely, Richard. Absolutely. That's the first thing you got to do, is a metal roof. And then if you got stucco on the outside of your house, or metal siding on the outside of your house, makes it a whole lot harder for those little embers to get started. I don't care how much the wind's blowing. Those little embers, they blow in the little cracks and whatnot, and that's how it gets started. It's not, your house doesn't get engulfed in flames. It's all the little sparks and stuff that fly up against your house, and then the wind blowing on that, it's embers, man. And you can do a lot to keep your house from burning down. And a metal roof is the first one. Absolutely. James, Harde, hard board. Oh, okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It's almost like, what do they call it? like drywall, but it's concrete, right? It's got concrete in it. If I, being a construction worker, I'm familiar with what you're talking about. Fire retardant, yeah, absolutely. And it's not hard to install a sprinkler system. You know, with a construction background, I could pipe a sprinkler system to go all the way around the house with little sprinkler heads that douse the water or douse the house with water in an emergency. And if I live in the foothills, I'll have a well and a holding tank. You know, you just got to be smart about some stuff. It's unfortunate because, once again, good old Gavin Newsom doesn't know how to, clean up all the crap off the ground in the forest and cut back trees so that they're not so densely packed, right? Forest management. No, instead, that idiot wants to put in a high speed rail. If he spent the money he spent on high speed rail on forest management, you wouldn't have that problem in California. But there's so much overgrowth and shrubbery underneath all those trees that, and all the dead crap on the ground. It's a fire hazard. When Northern California caught on fire, the Paradise Fire, Gavin Newsom was caught having dinner with an attorney for Pacific Gas and Electric. And Pacific Gas and Electric were held responsible for that fire, and they got away with murder. There were people that died in that fire. Politics, man. It's always about the money for those people. It's not about doing the right thing. Forest management. No, instead, you got to put a sprinkler system on your house so that it won't burn down. Hardy Plank. There you go, kid. Absolutely. Can you describe what your best day would look like? Yes, I can. Living on a couple acres in the foothills of California, getting up in the morning with 2 dogs asleep in my bed, making some coffee, making breakfast for me and the dogs, going out for a long walk on leash, coming back, doing chores, petting the dogs. A real quiet, simple life, man. And I will continue to put effort towards starting a charity. That'll never leave. That's always going to be a part of my life. Bringing good people together to save dogs, get them out of the dog kennels and get them into little doggy apartments. See, my plan for a dog rescue was to build little tiny doggy apartments, no cages. And if the dogs could all get along, there would be no doors on their little houses, so they could come and go as they please, as long as they don't scrap with each other. I don't like locking an animal into a room or a cage or anything, but, I wanted them all to have their own little house. Nice, comfy bed, little toys, and, a good life. But for me, I just want 2 dogs in my house that I can share my bed with and wake up next to them, go to sleep next to them every night, just like I used to. And if by some miracle I can find a nice lady that sees life the way I do, who knows, maybe I could get married again one day. I would like that. It's another thing I learned about living here. Loneliness, man. It's not healthy. Isolation is not healthy. But I'm quite content with dogs. But there's always something missing. You need to have a conversation. And having a conversation with someone you love, Looking your significant other in the eye and saying, baby, I love you, right? Hearing those words from somebody telling you that they love you, it's good for you. That's something I shut out of my life a long time ago. But now I see how important that is. So that would be my perfect day, Ellis. Waking up with the doggies, a good woman if I can, nice simple life, doing for the dogs, because it makes me smile. It makes me feel good. And I'd be in a good mood every day. Go into town every once in a while to pick up supplies and whatnot. But just staying home, playing with the dogs and walking in the forest, going to a lake, driving to the Bay Area, getting a tattoo, going to the ocean, visiting friends and family and whatnot. I look forward to it one day. I really do. And the Lord willing, hopefully that'll come to fruition. Let me see. That sounds so simple and wonderful. Well, thank you, Ellis. Yeah, there's an old saying goes on the job site, keep it simple, stupid. Don't complicate things. You just make it harder on yourself. I like a nice, quiet, simple life. I haven't had a TV in my house in a couple years. Spend too much time on this gadget, but it's just because I got too much time on my hands with this bad weather. I can't get outside. It's too cold. But come springtime, I can go walk on the property and get out into the trees and watch the birds and the deers and whatnot. That's great therapy. I like a simple life, a quiet, simple life. That's why I got so fussy when this thing happened with the trailer, because it's so close to my house. If it wasn't so close to the house, it wouldn't have been a problem. But I mean, it's less than 50 yards from my house. From house to house is only about 50 yards apart. It's very uncomfortable for me. Anyway, JM, puppy dog resort. Absolutely, dude. Yes, yes, yes. I call it, I want an old folks home. If I can build out a little dog sanctuary, I want the old dogs, right? Young dogs get adopted a whole lot easier than the old sad dogs. I want the oldest, saddest dogs in the kennel. The ones that are curled up in the corner that are all withdrawn, that's my dog. That's my dog. I get that. And to be able to give them a comfortable, happy life on a comfortable bed with lots of loving and good food and exercise, oh man, that would mean so much to me. Little doggy resort, yes sir. LS, why do you think marriage would be good for you? To be in a committed relationship with somebody who loves you as much as you love them, it just doubles the goodness, right? Dogs love you and they give you something humans can't give you, but there's something missing. Conversation. It's not about a roll in the hay. It's about hearing the words, baby, I love you. It's important. It is. You need that in your life. You need to hear that word, I love you. The dogs give it to you, but they can't tell you, right? They show you, but they can't tell you. And it's very important. Just like with your kids. If anybody out there listening, you got kids, you can't tell them enough about how much you love them. You know, back in the 50s and whatnot, dads were very stoic. You know, for a man to say, I love you, not so much. That's changed a lot in the world. But back in the day, men were very, we're supposed to be, keep things close to the vest, as they say. That's not good, right? You know, like I was talking about going through old photos, I found a lot of photos of me and the ex wife, and she was a mess. And I really tried to help her. And instead, I ended up going down the wrong roads with her, trying, instead of me helping her, she made things worse for me. And for whatever reason, I always find these broken women. And if I could find one that wasn't broken and was very loving and caring and giving, food for the soul, you know. So that's why I think I would like to get married. Richard, I built a $3,000 house for any stray cat that needs shelter. Good for you, Richard. I love that, man. I love cats, but they give me asthma. Their dandruff on their fur messes with my breathing. I can't have a cat, but good for you, Richard. Jam. So long as she is a good person. Yes, sir. You sure don't want someone who ends up breaking your heart. Be careful. Oh, believe me, I've had my heart broken plenty. So I get you all the way. All the way. Richard saying to JM and Richard, cool, cool, cool. I retired from Carpenters Union. Good for you, Richard. I feel all the animals. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, Richard. Me too, man. They are something special. Michael King, what's happening? Hi, Johnny. How are you doing, buddy? I'm doing pretty good today. Better spirits. And thanks again, you guys, for hitting the button. I appreciate you. Yeah, thank you, Michael, for asking. I'm in better spirits. The birds and squirrels can't stand to see animals so hungry. Yeah, yeah, all the way. I'm with you all the way, Richard. Hi, everyone. There you go, Michael. JM Michael King doing well on this end. Hopefully you are well as too. The kid, love you, Johnny. Love you too, kid. Yeah. Thanks, guys. You always put me in a good mood, you know? It's it's funny how when I first push the button to go live, I'm always a little apprehensive because of the trolls and the shitheads. And when I tried to go live, the gadget wasn't cooperating. I was having issues. And, when, anyway, I don't even want to get into all that, but when these lives get rolling, they just get better and better. And the best is always towards the end of a live. And I always wonder when people plug into the replays if they stick around long enough to get to the good stuff, you know? JM, hugs for anyone who needs one. Thank you. There you go. Spreading some love around. I like it. I like it. Yeah. Oh, had a little banner pop up. Probably messed with the signal a little bit. Trolls go, my trolls and my stalkers go way out of their way to mess with me in this little YouTube channel. And once again, thanks guys for your patience and understanding with all the drama when it comes to trying to hang out on this channel. And for anybody that's left comments that's disappeared, and because I answer everybody's comments. So if you've ever left a comment and you didn't get a response, it's because somebody knocked it down. Fun and games with people that are broken. What are you going to do? Hugs from LS. Yep, yep. I like it. I like it. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. And I'll tell you what, I get back to California and things get back on track. I'm going to pick a day out of the year and try to do, there's an old movie, same time next year. And once a year, have a little Misfit reunion party where anybody in the world who's followed this channel ever wants to come to California, it's on me, right? You'll have a place to stay and food to eat. All you got to do is get there and get back home. I won't have the money to fly people from all over the world, but I would love to break bread with each and every one of you and meet you all face to face and give you a hug and tell you I love you, like we were just talking about being married, man. It it's important, for us to love on each other. Kind act for a stranger. Go to your local dog shelter and take a dog for a walk, or go to your local horse place and volunteer to go take care of some horses, right? Whatever your passion is in life, or saving cats, right? It's the way God intended it. And I don't care how you believe in God, or whether you go to church or don't go to church, or you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're a Jew. When it comes to the animals, they're all God's creatures, right? You can learn a lot from the animals. All of them. I got birds showing up in the yard. I saw some red robins today for the first time. So the weather's starting to change and the birdies are coming back. It's pretty cool. The only birds I really see in the winter are the grouse and the ravens and the crows for the most part. When it's real cold, those are the only ones I see out there mostly. But now I get the little itty bitty colorful birds are coming back, and the little red robins are coming back. And because this is my third season here, I see how they come and go and come and go. Saw a little bunny rabbit in the yard yesterday, and he was hanging out in the open, and I was worried. I was like, man, you better go hide. There's eagles out here. They'll snatch you up. That's been the one saving grace about living on this property, because I got apple trees all over the yard. Brings the deer in and all the little animals. I just look out the window and it's just so magical to see wild deer come into the yard and eat apples off the ground. Just coming from California, I didn't get to see that. I lived in the big city. So even with all the heartache and drama that this property has brought me, it's also brought me a much greater appreciation for Mother Nature and all of God's little creatures, man. I could never be a hunter. I go to the grocery store and buy some hamburger, but I couldn't, I wouldn't, I don't have the heart to take an animal's life. I don't. And I get it, it's the way of the world. The coyotes and the wolves eat the deer and the eagles eat the rabbit, and I get all that. I get it. Circle of life and all that, but I just don't have the heart to take the life of an animal. Any animal, for any reason. I mean, granted, if push came to shove and I was starving to death and I needed to harvest a deer, I'm sure I would do it. But before I did that, I'd go to the river and go get me a fish. Oh, Johnny's a character, that's for sure. Fishing don't bother me none. I could catch a fish and gut a fish and cook a fish on a open fire. I've done that when I was a Boy Scout. That don't bother me. But anything that's warm-blooded, way too hard. Way too hard. I wasn't raised that way. And I'm too compassionate and empathetic, you know. I'm not suited to be a hunter. Magical for sure. There you go, LS. Lots of mourning doves and woodpeckers around here near Toronto. Yeah, I haven't seen any woodpeckers yet. The kid found out the mayor of my town is from Wisconsin. Ooh, shit. Well, let's hope he's a good one, kid. BRB. Coffee. Rifle time. Yep. Coffee, coffee. Thanks again, guys. You really do raise my spirits, man. I appreciate all of you very much. You really do. Yeah, it seems kind of odd. I have a feeling if you guys got a wrench, you don't get kicked out. But anybody that's popped in and talked for a little while, and then they're gone because they don't have a wrench, I have a feeling my troll knocks down anybody without a wrench. And if you got a wrench, you're immune to getting booted from the live fun and games, man. Nobby, hi. There you go. Yeah, I have a feeling that if folks don't have a wrench, they have a hard time. And the problem with that is if I give wrenches to everybody, before you know it, there's somebody down there with a wrench doing things they shouldn't be with it. So it makes it difficult to give everybody a wrench. Been down that road before, but there's a handful of folks that have been around a long time, and trolls usually don't have the patience to be that nice for that long. Well, you guys, I'm getting kind of hungry. I've been on here for over an hour. I'm going to need to get after some chores and some food. Once again, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being a friend. It means a lot to this old man. It really does. And like I always do before I get off of here, please, pretty please, don't forget, kind act for a stranger. Hold the door open, cup of coffee, and a donut for the homeless guy or gal. Kind act for a stranger goes a long way. And most of all, go volunteer at your local dog shelter. Even if you live in an apartment and you can't have your own dog, you can go volunteer and take a dog for a walk. It's good for them. It's good for you. Get that love hormone thing going, right? All right, enough's enough. Love the ones that love you back. Do your best with the rest. And I'll catch you on the next one. Johnny loves you. Peace.